Hello and welcome to a new video. I thought today I would walk you through some fall autumn recommendations. I am very much a mood reader, and that is very much determined by the season that I'm in. I do think in general I gravitate towards darker books, towards fantasy books, gothic books, that kind of thing in the fall, but it doesn't have to be all scary and sad. I definitely still love just a cozy, like autumnal romance book. So I have some recommendations here that kind of span the spectrum of genres, so I thought let's just get right into it. I'm going to start with a couple ebooks I have that I'm recommending. First off, I feel like I'd be remiss not to mention this one. I feel like probably everybody's read this, but I'm going to recommend it anyway, and that is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. This is the cover. It is just the cutest, sweetest, but also spicy romance book. So this is about a girl who inherits her this shop from her grandma, if I believe right, who's going off to like do something, I can't remember. And she finds out that she inherits this shop, and she's like, okay, fresh start, I'm going to do it. So she moves into this small town, she starts adjusting to that, and then she meets the brooding hero, small town hero, and he offers to help her with some stuff around the shop and all of this stuff. And the more time they spend together, the more they grow to love each other, but he has a hard time trusting her because of stuff that's happened in his past. It's very cute, very fun, very Gilmore Girls, Stars Hollow coded. It's just comfy and it's cozy and it's sweet, and I really enjoyed it when I read it last year. I enjoyed it so much that I made it my book club pick of the month for September and October. So if you're interested, come check out on Instagram my book club. I'm having so much fun running that this year. And I think this will be a really fun book to discuss because it is just cutesy and it's fun, and like that doesn't mean it lacks like emotional depth or anything. It's just a fun book, and that's my favorite kind of like romance to read, is like atmospheric. I think it just really makes the experience so much more enjoyable. So I loved this one. So the other ebook that I'm going to recommend is The Vampire Knitting Club by Nancy Warren. This is the cover. I have actually read all of the books in this series, so I'm like bummed that I don't have more to read. They do have a spin-off series that I probably will pick up. It's not gonna be as fun as this one because I loved this series so much. I don't know how to follow it up, but this is a cozy mystery series. If you don't know about me, I love a cozy mystery, and at first I didn't know if I would like a cozy mystery that had like a paranormal element to it. In my head I'm like, paranormal should be like so much more serious. I was wrong. I take that back. It is so much fun when it's like not that serious. Sure, they're having murders happen but they're solving them in a cozy way. So this girl, like many books are the setup apparently, she inherits a shop from her grandma, but this one is a knitting shop, and so she moves to, is it Oxford or Cambridge? It's one of those, and she decides to start fresh because she got dumped back home, and she decides to start fresh in England and open this shop. She doesn't even know how to knit, but she's gonna do it. And she starts meeting a lot of interesting characters in this area, namely her grandma, who actually is not dead. She was just turned into a vampire. Is that not just the funniest thing you've ever heard? And then amongst all of this, she meets a lot of other vampires. They have a knitting club downstairs, and then she also learns that she is a witch. Her grandma was also a witch, but then she died and got turned into a vampire. So I adore this series. There is a really adorable romance at the forefront. It's very much slow burn. I don't think anything happens to like book 5, but they like have an incredible relationship. It's adorable. He's a overprotective old vampire. I mean, exactly my type. And she is learning to navigate this magical world on top of a bunch of people getting murdered right outside her shop. So it's a lot of fun. It's so cozy. It's so atmospheric, and just has you dreaming of fall and Christmas and like just all of the cozy vibes. If you haven't tried a cozy mystery and you're willing to try them, I highly recommend this series. I adore it. Next, into some of my physical book recommendations I have here. I think I have recommended this series multiple years in a row for the fall, and that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I love this book, and I just feel like not enough people know about it. Not enough people love it. I do realize it's actually like super famous, but not enough people have read it. I think everybody should read this series. This is a witch hunter romance, on top of a lot of things happening in this country that, you know, they're in France, in like the 1500s or something. And just a lot of things are happening. There's a lot of unstable government stuff, amongst the humans and amongst, the magical creatures, mostly witches, but there's like a lot of different kinds of witches. There's blood witches, like more like earth magic type thing. There's a lot. And I just read. I love him. He is just amazing. And the fact that they are like just thrown together, it's like a forced marriage, on either side of them. Neither of them wanted to be part of that. And then she has to hide who she is from him because he's like a famous witch hunter, and she is a witch. It's just so good, and just not enough people appreciate this series. It's so good. There's only 3 books. That's the only downside. Here are the other 2, Blood and Honey and Gods and Monsters. I wish there were more in this world, with these characters specifically. I love them so much. So many tragic things happen. You will cry. I will not lie to you. It's so depressing at times. But it's great and totally worth it. So you should read it. There is a scene that to this day still haunts me if I think about it too much, but I love it so much. Okay. Next, this would not be a fall recommendation video if I did not recommend this book. I've probably been recommending this book for, what, 8 years now? And I'm not going to stop. And that is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I love these books so much. I reread Stalking Jack the Ripper earlier this year, so I think I will probably continue my reread as the fall sets in, because it is the perfect atmospheric, spooky, fun book. And then, oh, Thomas Cresswell, my one love. I know I was just talking about Reed, but I take it back. Thomas, you're it. You're the one. Audrey Rose, also amazing. Great. I love all the characters in this book. This is a series about Audrey Rose. This is the late 1800s. She wants to be a mortician, I guess would be the word. But she's a girl, so she's not allowed to do anything fun. But she does it anyway, and that's where she meets Thomas Cresswell. He is also a student of her uncle's, who she's taking these anatomy dissecting classes with them. And on top of all this, Jack the Ripper is at large. And so she takes it upon herself to help solve that case. And in that discovers a lot of family secrets, a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue. And did I mention I love Thomas Cresswell? My battery's almost dead. I gotta get going. But yeah, I adore this series. Please read it. It's worth every minute of your time. I could not recommend this more. If you don't like these books, you just don't like fun. And I have to talk about it every time, but all of the pictures in this, they have pictures of like real stuff from the 1800s. Oh, can I find one? Yeah, and my book is signed. Like here's a real pharmacy from the 1800s. They have one that's like a picture of real tools used for an autopsy. I don't know where it is. There's too many pictures. But, oh, here's a real picture of an autopsy in the 1800s. Isn't that so cool? I love this series so much. Another series that I will rave forever about, and I am patiently awaiting the next book in the series that she hasn't even announced, that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. This series took me by such surprise. I picked it up because I wanted something atmospheric. I wanted something I could really get lost in. I did not expect I would love it so much. This book is incredible. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it kind of goes past that by the time you get to the 4th book. It is just so good. It follows a character who lives in the real world and gets caught up and brought into this magical realm where the goal is she's supposed to fall in love with the beast so they can save the realm, cancel the curse, blah blah blah, but discovers a lot about the world and about him and about herself, and what they have to do. And all this time they've also been fighting all these people up north because they think they're evil, until you get to kind of meet the other side and learn really what's going on and what's really been the conflict. And the characters that you meet up there are some horrible ones, don't get me wrong, but there's also some characters like Liamara, my love. Love her. Gray, who is in this one, the king's like right-hand man. I love him so much. I love him so much. I love the characters, these two as well, but later when we get to follow, I love this series so much. Please read this if you haven't. It's so good. And it just gets better with every book, which I think is like really the tale of a great series. But I love these characters so much. And that the latest book, the third book has a lot of harrowing things, but then the fourth book, my camera has died, but I'm so close to finishing this video, so I'm just gonna jump in and give my last two recommendations. Go read A Curse So Dark and Lonely. It's fantastic. Lastly, second to lastly anyway, I know probably everybody has already read this, but I'm gonna recommend it anyway, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I love this series. It took reading all 3 books for me to really get it. The first one I was like, okay, fun, cool. The second one I was like, why am I reading this? I'm not even gonna read the next one. And then I was like, it ended on a cliffhanger, I'll see what happens. And then that third book, I was like, oh, I get it. Everything makes sense now. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Carded and Jude, I can't even explain how much I love those characters. This world is psychotic. It is horrible. These people are horrible to each other. Even Cardin and Jude most of the time are pretty horrible to each other. And I couldn't imagine ever living in a place like this, but man is it fun to read, and I ended up having so much fun with this series. It's such a fun read. Horrifying, don't get me wrong, and so many terrible things happen, but it's a wild ride, and I think it's just really fun for fall because of all the magic, because of the magical realm. And there are extended books in this universe as well. I just haven't read them yet. But the 3, and this is actually, at this point, I feel like this is actually a pretty old series. So like I'm saying, probably everyone has read this, but I'm recommending it anyway in case you haven't, because it's so good and it's so fun. And I just really love Cardin and Jude. Like, I really love them. They're so cute, in a terrifying way. So yeah, read The Cruel Prince. And then lastly, I don't know why, but the Heartstopper series just screams fall to me. Even though some of it takes place over summer, I just feel like the coziness of it, which, should I reread all 5 of these? The new season does come out in a month. Maybe that's part of it too, is the new season comes out in the fall, so in my head I'm like, this is gonna be a fall read again. And they do like go to school in these. So I love this series. If you have been living under a rock and don't know what Heartstopper is a graphic novel series that follows 2 characters at this school. Is it an all-boys school? Yeah, I think there's an all-boys and all-girls school. That's so weird. Is that in England a lot? I don't know anyone. I know one person in all my life I've met that went to an all-girls school here in the US, and that's it. I don't think those are very big over here. And honestly, why? What's the point of them? I'm getting off track. I've been talking for too long. But this follows Charlie and Nick. Charlie is one of, if not the only openly gay kid at his school. And he was bullied a lot for that, went through a lot. He meets Charlie, who's like the very popular boy. Is he a year older? Yeah, I think he's a year older. He meets him in the homeroom class and is surprised by how kind Nick is. And they develop a friendship, and then they develop more. So it's about Nick's experience discovering who he is, how he feels, and Charlie's experience with mental health and everything. And I just love this series so much. It's so good. It is like a warm hug. That's genuinely what it feels like. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of dark topics. There's a lot of serious like issues addressed in this series, but they're addressed so wonderfully and so like well handled. It's just incredible to read, and I love them so much, and I feel like I should reread them soon. Definitely before the new season starts. So love this. I really, if you haven't read this, go read it and go watch the show. They're both absolutely incredible and deserve all the love in the world. So that is my video. Thank you for putting up with my camera dying. I didn't want to wait to recharge it. I wish my camera battery would last longer. I feel like I only got like an hour or two of filming before it died, but that's beside the point. I hope you enjoyed. I upload every Sunday, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.